Alright, so once again I'm underneath my 328i that I've E36 328i 1998 that I have welded the reinforcements into. You can see the reinforcement welding there, and there. Anyway, I'm trying to install the Powerflex bushings, and in an earlier video I mentioned that the stock Powerflex bushing washers are known to cup. So a solution to that is installing thicker washers. And one of the things I noticed when I was doing that is that the thickness here throws off the position of the subframe a little tiny bit, a couple millimeters, maybe 2 or so, not much at all. But you can pound that with installing E90 bolts, and you got to figure out where your subframe is going to be located. The reason I mentioned the E90 bolts is the fact that they're the E90 bolts, which are right here. They don't have this little nut in the center of the stud. This nut in the center of the stud will, of course, space your subframe down a little bit. So I'm trying to emulate that little bit of space there on an E90 bolt and thicker washers. So what I've developed is I'm less than a millimeter off of where I think it needs to be by stacking 2 little tiny washers here in the center of the little cup here of the reinforcements. I think you can also kind of you can probably kind of come to the same conclusion with cars that don't have the reinforcements, whether they be, I guess they're going to be non-M3s and non-E36s with these welded in. Let's see, where is it going? So put this in here. That seems to space down this thicker washer just enough that I'm pretty sure it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's where it would be with the stud installed and this washer. I would take video proof of it, but it's pretty darn tight, and it's hard to see it. I'm kind of blabbing at this point. I was hoping to make it more informative, but what I found is my spaces it down just enough that if this camera could focus right, you can see a little bit of a glint of the washers in there, which is what I believe you want, because that means it's I believe it's pretty much where you want it to be. If you were to install this and then plop the Powerflex washers on in there, you can see a little bit of a glint in there too, but you can see more because this washer is not thick enough. Well, that's not why, but let's see. In order to do the thicker washer, you need to take away some of that space that you can see there. So I think by putting 2 of those washers, like I said a couple minutes ago, in on the bolt and then putting the thicker washer up there, it's I'd say pretty darn close to where it needs to be. So in short, what I'm going to say is do this configuration. Got the E90 bolt, as you can see here. I left the washer that came with the E90 bolt down there. I put the thicker washer there, and then you take this, put it on top, and then put 2 washers on it. And that seems to be just right in my opinion. I think it turned out to be less than a millimeter off of what the stack height of the stock configuration would have been. So yeah, I'm probably chasing things that are minute details and or causing a little bit more problem by overthinking it. Who knows? But This seems right to me, and I think it retains where the subframe should be. Because when you think about it, this adds some thickness too, because you've got the plate welded on, then you've got this kind of built-in washer here. That spaces it down a little bit, and this spaces it down a little bit by having that lip. The stock does not have that. I think it's actually, I wonder if this lip here is the same as the buildup that you cause here by welding this in. It might be, and then that would mean everything's just perfect. So I'm going to go back to saying this again. I'm being redundant because I'm blabbing. E90 bolt, washer that came with the E90 bolt. You grind off the lip that keeps, the lip there is ground off so that the washer, or not the washer, but the inside of the Powerflex bushing can slide over it. And down. Put the thicker washer on top. And 2 of these little thin washers on there. And then I think you're sitting pretty much where you want to be. That's it. Thanks.